This is a good topic, and I don't know if I know everything about courage, but it's always good to talk. Okay, and now we are live on YouTube, and okay, let's go. So, oh, Kachana is joining us. So as I say, we are here to talk about courage today. Good morning, Kachana. How are you? Good morning. Hello,
Morning.
hello. Okay. So I will send the question on the chat again, because today we are here to talk about courage. This is an interesting topic because people sometimes make some mistakes about courage, and this is a really interesting topic to talk about. And before we start, I have to say something related to our conversation, okay? So my name is Carlos. I'm 32 years old. Oh, sorry about that. I'm 33 years old. Uh, I'm a software engineer. I make birthday on last week, so this is the reason I didn't remember my age right now. And as I said, I'm a software engineer and I'm a facilitator here in Talk and Talk. So I'm not a teacher. I'm not here to teach you anything, but we are here to talk and develop our fluency and our confidence as an English speaker. So I will ask to everyone, please be respectful and don't correct anyone and enjoy our time here. Okay, so I think we can start. And Julia, I will send the questions one more time because you have to enter again. And I want to ask you, for you, Julia, if possible, can you introduce yourself, please? Say your name and what else you think it's important about you. And you can read the first question, please.
Yes, I can do that. So my name is Julia. I am 19 years old. I live in São Paulo, Brazil. And I started to learn English last year. So that's it. My hobbies is reading, write, and I like to study uh, politicals in my free time. So that's it.
All right. So what is your age? I didn't understand.
19.
19. Oh man, you are so young. Okay, please go forward. And can you read question one, please?
Yeah, sure. What is courage and how can it be defined?
Okay, and you can give your thoughts about this, please.
Yes. So it's difficult to answer this question because, in my opinion, courage is so many things. But in my opinion, courage is do many things in your life with afraid, and when you can do um, all things in your life in many times in many situations. Um, for me, it's courage is can do everything.
All right, all right. It's a good definition. And I want to listen from you, Kachana. What do you think it's courage?
I, for me, courage, it's do the things with afraid because sometimes the people stopped in front when afraid something And courage for me, it's do with afraid. Do the things with afraid, because não é possível enfrentar a coragem in front of the things. I don't know how they say these things in English. It's the first time I speak about courage in English. But do the things with afraid, because if you stop it, you don't develop the things and don't move on in the direction of your goals, I think.
All right. How can I say? It's a difficult topic for me to talk about, but I agree with you because, in my point of view, courage is related to this. You have to do something, even you have afraid. Usually, when you have afraid for something, you stop. The fear about do something wrong, or maybe something not so good happen to you, this can stop you from doing something. For example, we are here to talk in English, but English isn't our first language, so you had to do courage to be here every day and practice in English and expose yourself. So congratulations, girls. You are women of courage. All right. And can you continue, please, Katiana, with the next question?
Yes, the second. How can courage be developed and nurtured in individuals? I think this is an interesting topic, because be afraid, it's so common. But when you speak with, for example, with the kids, for doing the thing, and don't have conscious, não se preocupar, mas fazer, and go with afraid, I think it's a kind of a tip for develop and nurtured the courage. Because, for example, sometimes the kid is be afraid about something, and the fathers speak, no, go away, go away. And I speak with my daughter every time, go away, go away. It's not important if you're wrong or right, or you're right, but go, move, movement, and be movement. I think it's a kind of encourage the things, and it's so important. And for me, for example, it's a good example, for example, with English. My daughter have English in the school, and it's so cute when she speak the numbers in English, 1, 2, 3, and sometimes it's wrong. But I think every time I said yes, it's correct. Speak again, and and with kids, it's so important. Encourage the things, because develop the capacity or for capacity, develop the capacity for do the things with afraid. And it's so important, because when this kid is grow up, vai fazer as coisas com medo mesmo, porque é assim que a vida é.
Yeah, of course. And we are, as parents, we have to encourage our children. All right. And what about you, Julia? What do you think about this question?
So, in my opinion, when you have courage in any situation, is when you do one thing which is difficult for you. One thing you have afraid, and in my opinion, is one when you has one thing for to do, this thing is difficult, and you just stop looking for yourself and say for yourself, I can do that. Just do that. In my opinion, this is courage in any situation for any people. So that's it.
All right. Good answer. And as you say, it's your first week here in Talk and Talk. Do you think do you have more courage today than you had on the first day on Talk and Talk?
I think yes, because speaking English is difficult to me because I don't think my English is so well, but I need to training for has a good English in the future. But I am so shy for speaking with another people. So when I start here, this is a courage to me. So English is difficult, but I can do that. So for me, it's a good example for what courage is for people. Speaking English for me is a courage.
All right. Yeah, I totally agree with you, girls. In my point of view, to develop and gain more courage, you have to expose yourself to some situations you are not so comfortable. For example, in the past, I was a police officer, a policeman, and I have to do some tasks who ask me courage, when someone start to shoot another person, you need a little bit of courage. But I know this kind of courage isn't the only one. As I ask you for Julia, you need courage to stay here every day, every week, month after month, and expose yourself. In the beginning, now in August, I complete 1 year studying here in Talk and Talk. And when I look back for my past, uh, I can see how this helped me to improve my English skills. In the beginning, I was a little bit shy to talk in English because I never had the opportunity to talk in English with other persons in my real life, sometimes online. And I keep studying with Talk and Talk, and sometimes I make some posts on Instagram or on LinkedIn talking about my evolution here in the platform, and this helped me a lot. Of course, during this time I listened some jokes from people in my life. Oh, so you are studying English? Can you translate this for me? And when I say, "Oh, I don't understand," or I don't know what this music means. People say, but you aren't studying English. And I listen some jokes, but this didn't stop me, and I keep studying. And today, people don't do jokes anymore with me. People ask me, "Oh man, I want to improve my English skills. Can you help me? Can you share something? How can I do, and how can I achieve your English level?" So had had courage is important to develop us as person and as a professional, and of course to gain more skills. All right. So let's move on. What are some common examples of courage acts that people perform? This is a good question. So, in my point of view, I will start with this. Obviously, um, I think people had to some examples. I already say, studying English, expose yourself every week is an act of courage, but people who had some difficult jobs, like I say, a policeman need courage to develop his profession. A fireman need a lot of courage. I had to say, eu não sirvo. I don't. I'm not. I, I didn't was built it to be a fireman because I like a fire, but it's really hard. I don't like water to swimming and rescue someone under the water. This isn't for me. So people will need a lot of courage and to help someone who had some problem in your next to you. You need courage to defend what you believe, and this is my opinion. And what about you, Katiana? Can you share some examples of courage for us, please?
For example, I'm a safety and health engineer. It's usually now I don't work more in the factories or in the ships, but it's usually if you have a problem with gas, with oil, with explosive things, we have the team of safety and health between the employees. And this is a kind of courage. I remember in the past, I have a big problem in the factory where I work. We have escape of ammonia. It's a kind of gas, and you need to close the factory and use the mask and the equipment for remove the employees in middle of the factory. And I think it's a kind of a courage. But after I become a mother, I choose the project because for me, be safe, it's more important now, because for me, my wish is to stay all the time with my daughter, stay safe all the time with my daughter. I don't have this kind of thoughts with courage more. But it's a kind of courage, because, for example, it's very usually in this kind of work with safety and health, you stay in the middle of the incêndios, fire, explosions, and many other kind of things. And when I was a young woman, for me, it's okay. I received a lot of money because of this, and it's okay. I have experience, but now I choose. I don't. My life now. I think I'm not a courage woman now, because I prefer the safe place, and because of this, I choose develop the new projects of ships, of the riser flows and the other things in middle of the sea for me, and stay in my house, work remotely all the time. Yeah. I'm not a courage more,
but please go.
But I think I have for me, for example, the firefighters, os bombeiros, né? It's a good example of the courage, because in middle of the explosions, in middle of the many different kind of disasters, não lembro disaster. It's in front of the problem and go away. For me, it's a good example of the courage.
Yeah. But you have to agree with me. You need courage to say no to a good job who pay well. If you make some decision and you want to move forward, in the direction of this decision, you need courage too. So you are a woman of courage, in my point of view.
Oh, thank you, Carlos. Because, for example, if I go to the same job in the oil and gas, it's possible I receive 2 or 3 times more when I compare with my salary now. But you stay in middle of the sea sometimes with 100 mil litros de barril de petróleo, and it's very dangerous. It's or in middle of the factory, for example. And I think the life it's the kind of cycle. São ciclos.
All right. And what about you, Julia? Can you share with us some examples of courage?
Sure. So, in my opinion, the courage is a individual thing for any people, because for me, it's courage actors. For other people, is not. So I can speak about 3 things in my life who is for me is a courage. The first is speaking English with another person. For me, this is difficult yet, but um, when I talked English with another people, I want to start. I want to speak with me. I can do that, so I want to do this for have a good English in the future, and you need to do that for these things. I can stay here with you, and for me it's difficult, but I can speak. And these another things is going to the college. I want to do any, I don't know how say this in English, in these years. And in the last years, I want to start my college. I want to course international relations. It's a difficult in Brazil because when you start to share with the most difficult course in Brazil to go to the college in international relations is the third more difficult for to enter in the college, and the college we don't want to study is difficult because I want to course in the good institution for me. Go to the college is difficult, but I want to study every single day for can do that. And this is a difficult, sure, but this is a necessary for follow my dreams and have a good career. So that's it.
Yeah, you say something really important. You need courage to follow your dreams. You know, if you dream about something, you need courage to move forward. And this is really important because when you get more older, maybe you can regret about something you didn't do when you are younger. So as you had 19 years old, please stay firm and keep going because you are doing a great job. Your English is good. I can understand you. Maybe next month or 2-3 months you will don't have vergonha. You will not be so shy talking English. So please keep going. I know Katiana are here in TALK about 1 year too, so it's really important to keep going. So don't give up, Julia. You will be better. I can say this. And can you read the number 4, please, Julia? As you already finished your answer, can you read number 4 and answer for us, please?
Yes. How can someone overcome a fear to find courage in difficult situations. In my opinion, when you stay in a difficult situation and you have to to do the courage act, for me is a just look for yourself and say it, I can do that, and just do that, and think about what you want to do, and then don't think about how difficult the situation is, but how you can pass for this situation. How can you do that? Because if you focus uh, in the negative things like how this is so difficult, this is not for me, you can do what you want. And if, in my opinion, think uh, with yourself. If you can do that, you will change your mind, and we start to pass for a difficult situation. For me, courage is about what you think about yourself, why you look for situations, and don't look for difficult, but look for how can do that. So that's it. I think these are so important things for all people doing, because all people in the world need to has courage in many situations.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. But I want to listen from you, Katiana. What do you think about that?
Is the question number 4, né?
Yes. Question number 4.
I think it depends of this question. It depends of the place where the people grow up, because sometimes I see, for example, the parents put the kids in one a little space. And if you grow up in a little space, for example, you don't move on and you be afraid all the time. And for the other hand, if you encourage all the time the things, I think the people grow up with courage in middle of your body, in your thoughts, and everything. It's more easier for the people. And I think this kind of things depend of the place where you grow up and who the people speak about courage with you. It's not the courage. I think the courage starts with a little things who, for example, make a friend in one place who you don't know anyone. And it's this. It starts with a little things. I think it's not easier, because I think it depends of the personality of this person. But sometimes when we speak all the time with, for example, with a kid, and for develop the little feelings with courage in the little things in the day, in few years or few months, this kind of feelings grow up with this person. But it's not so easy, because depend of many different things in this person. I remember in my post graduation, the teacher speak about if you have how do you say? I don't remember, pintinho. But if you put uma cordinha no pé do pintinho, e ele só vai andar em volta daquilo ali. Você não vai conseguir encorajar o pintinho aí para diferentes lugares. Mas se você solta ele e fala assim, go away, go away, go away, probably the feelings and the things that it's more easier for for the people do. But I think depends of many kinds of things. It's not so easy.
Yeah, isn't so easier, but in my point of view, to overcome the fear to do something, the key point is understand why are you doing that. For example, Julia is here. Julia, me, and you, Katiana, are here to study English. So when I became a little bit shy or I feel fear of doing this, why am I doing this? All right. So if you can answer this for yourself, this help you to overcome your fears and found courage to do what you want. And in the past, as I say, I was a police officer and I had some situations who courage was asked for me if I had to go against someone who is trying to rob or trying to murder someone. Usually people run away from this kind of situation, and I had to run to that situation. So when I had to do that, usually of course, I always had God in my mind, but I always remember, why am I doing this? So if you can answer this question in your heart, in your mind, you can find courage to do what you need. All right. And it's really interesting because I had some opportunities to develop my courage in the past. For example, I was in, I don't know how to say cachoeira, but I was with my family in cachoeira, and a guy starts swimming and he se afogou. I don't know, afogou too. And I had to enter in the water and remove that guy. Me and a friend of mine helped him, and we had to do cardiac massage. I don't know it's right, this expression, but and I in that moment I had to put my experience with first primeiro socorro, first aids, I don't know, and it was really hard to do that. When you train to do something and when you had to put what you train it, it's really different, and it was really hard because the wife of the guy was pregnant and she started to cry a lot, but we couldn't help him and he died in my front. So this is really, really hard. But in that moment, I found courage because, as I say, I'm not a guy who like water. I had a little bit afraid because I had some bad experience with water. But when you had to do something, sometimes you found courage. All right. And let's move on. Can you start with the next topic, Katiana, please?
Is the question number 5
5.
correct?
Yeah.
What are the benefits of having courage? I think it's the benefit. It's move on. When you be afraid, it's a kind of benefits, and don't stop in front of the things. I think it's a kind of benefits, but for example, sometimes when you when you don't afraid about the things, it's possible for you go away in with many risks. For example, the people sometimes it's viciados, anxious, I think, anxious in adrenaline, for example. And the people do the dangerous thing. Don't be afraid anything and have a lot of courage and put yourself in many different kinds of risks. I see a news about one man who jumped and don't afraid about nothing, and it's the opposite of the benefit. Sometimes I think sometimes you need a little limit between the courage and be crazy sometimes for me, because the courage is so important for develop a new skill in your job, develop a new language like in English. But if you need a limit sometimes, because it's important sometimes you stay safe. For me, I think I'm a safety and health engineer. I work with this, and sometimes the people don't use don't put, não olha a segurança própria quando vão fazer as coisas. For me, the courage is so important for different things, but be safe in these moments. It's so important for me.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I want to listen from you, Julia. What do you think about that?
In my opinion, courage is the capacities for can do the things you propose to yourself. This can do many things in your life. So in my example, for me, wake up early is a courage act because this is difficult. Today, I say to myself, um, tomorrow, today I has a conversation in English 7 a.m. So I can wake up 6 a.m. Is difficult because I like to sleep, and for this reason, um, I today I need to wake up 6 a.m. It's difficult to me because it's not common, but is necessary. So, in my opinion, doing the necessary things, do why you need to things in your life is a courage. This can do one thing so difficult like as in ecology, learning another language, and this can be these little acts in your lives, like wake up early, like take care of your cat. For me, all things in your life you need to do with courage. It's not easy to do that, but this is so necessary to live, to can do many things, and so that is my opinion.
Yeah, I have to say something about this, because for me, courage is really important in our lives. As I said at the beginning, if you feel some afraid, or if you feel fear of do something, this can stop you um for us is really important to keep moving on. If someone stopped for something, for example, if someone stopped to learn, if someone stopped to do what they want, people can get sick, and maybe people can hurt her feelings, because it's really important for everyone to keep going. So don't be stopped by afraid. Is really important for the human being, in my point of view. And the main benefit of the develop and have courage is about this, to evolve yourself and do things you think that you couldn't do. This is most important. So let's move on. The next topic, number 6. How important is courage in decision making? I think I talked a little bit about this to you, Katiana. But in my opinion, you need a lot of courage when you had to make a good decision in your life. If you don't have courage, you can regret for something. So you need courage to make big decisions in your life. For example, 2 months ago, I decided to quit my job. I'm married and I have 2 daughters, and it was a hard decision for me to quit my job, but this asked me a lot of courage to do that. I think now it's 1.5 years I make other big decision in my life. As I say, I was a police officer, and as Katiana shared with us, for her it was important to stay more time with her family, and I decided this in my life. I quit my job as a police officer because I want to spend more time with my family. And that was a big decision, and that asked me a lot of courage to do that. Because, in Brazil, if you are a public attendant, if you are a funcionário público, people look to you, oh, you are going to have a good life, because you are a public employee, so your life will be so easy. But when you make a decision in other way from this, people look to you like you are a crazy, man, you will quit your job, you are a public employee, you receive your payment every month and you will quit your job. So people look at me like I was a crazy man. But so this asked me a lot of courage. And what about you, Katiana? How important is courage in decision making?
I think, for example, dar passo, go away sometimes in one space who you don't be comfortable, like in English, for example. I remember the first immersion in English. Oh, it's so crazy, because it's not comfortable for me in that time speaking English, but I have courage. I be afraid all the time during, I think, 3 or 4 weeks, but eu gaguejava all the time, but I go, and we need courage for put yourself in front of the problems. And I think it's important. It's important. Move on with afraid, se movimentar com o medo mesmo, It's so important. And the English for me, it's a big challenge because in the past I don't have money or space for like you for speaking English, and don't have time, money, or many things. And the English for me, it's so important. But I remember I don't have time and space, and I be afraid all the time. But I move on. With afraid, I move on. I be courage, and the next year, for example, I have the new goal. It's developing myself in Spanish. I be afraid, but I move on with a new goal.
I totally agree with you. I want to learn Spanish. I want to this year. I want to start to study Spanish because when you talk with someone from North America, they always think, "Oh, you are Brazilian, so we speak Spanish." I don't know they do that, but I listen this question a lot, so I decide to learn Spanish because we live in Latin America, so Spanish is really common for us, but we are the only country in the South America who don't speak Spanish. So I want to speak to learn Spanish too. So this is something I want to achieve. Sorry, I interrupt you, Kachan.
No, it's okay.
Oh, you already finished?
I finished.
Okay. And what about you, Julia? What do you think about that? The question number 6.
So in my opinion, career is about you can do what you propose to yourself. For me, this benefits. You can list what you want to do, and you can list what you want, and you can do that with afraid with Instagrams, but you just move on and the continues in your goings, and you can do why everything in your life. You just need to uh, understand what you want to do, and they have the courage for continue in your way, continue in your going. For me, this is courage. This is a benefit. You just can do that uh, in everything's in every moment. For me, this is a courage. This is as benefits.
Oh, sorry, I was talking and I was muted. So let's move on. I think if you had a quick and short answer, ask we can answer one more question, and I will, as it is your first time here, Julia, I will give you the opportunity to pick some question you want to answer, and you can start answering, but we had to make short answers because we are running out of time. So can you choose one question, number 7, 8, 9, or 10, and give your answer, please? Julia?
I want to answer this question number 8.
Okay.
What are some common reasons that people may lack courage? So, in my opinion, this is common actually for many people, and for me, this more common reason is afraid. You have afraid situations, Like if you want to do this one thing is so difficult for you, it's not common with your lives. Is it common you can do that for the first time? You can do that, but you need to have the courage for continue in your rate, in your going, in what you propose to yourself. But is it common you give up your goings, give up your dreams because every people in work has afraid to do many things. For me, this is a difficult to have courage in your life. For this reason, many people don't do it. Things what you want. Like for example, has people here who has difficult to speaking in another language. Here in TALKNTALK, we can learn English, Spanish, Italy, but it's difficult for to any people that because speaking in another language is not easy, but you have to do that, and for do that we need courage. But if you can do that, it just you have many afraid and many insecurities, and if you just listen and these insecurities in your head, these negative feelings, you can't continue in your race for. So this is my answer.
All right. Thank you. And what about you, Katiana? Can you answer the number 8, please, before we finish?
Yes, I think the common reasons it's I think sometimes it's about the culture. The in the middle of the people grow up. For me, if you grow up in a space with your parents or everyone encourage you for do the things with afraid, probably you don't stop in front of the problems. I think it's about culture too.
All right. I totally agree with you, girls. It's uh, in my point, parents, they had this how can I say, parents can encourage their children to do something new. And usually I'm trying to expose my daughters to new activities. Oh, I believe you can do this, go on. And my wife, sometimes my kids want to do some tricks, something more, algo mais difícil, ou que uh, keep my wife with her heart in her mouth, because kids can do that. But I always try to encourage my daughters. So, guys, I want to say thank you for everyone to be here. It was really important. Next week we are here to talk about TV shows, series. I don't know if you are read listen this expression, being watching. So if you want to